Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We have got to get into some things, guys. I missed y'all today. I've been having some internet issues all mother loving day, but it looks like things are back up and running again, so I'm happy. Looks like everything's back to normal for the most part, so we can kind of get back into some clean videos. Clear videos. All of our shows are dirty, okay? But I am happy that we got the internet back up and running, and we're here to talk about all the stuff that's going on. There's been some crazy stuff that's going on, and we may be getting finally an idea of what actually went down here, okay, with Kada. So please do me a favor, before we get into everything, you know what to do, but I'm still going to say it anyway. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, Rumble. I think I said everything. It's been a long day, guys, so I apologize if I feel or seem or sound a little rusty. It's just been a long day. All right? But make sure you are hitting that follow button on those other platforms, please, and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. Crush it. All right. Go check out Pascal, the Pascal Show clips, and Pascal Raw. Make sure you're subscribed to those channels as well. Hit that notification bell on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload on all those platforms, so you can know what's going on, okay? Because a lot of times it is random. It just is what it is. It just is how the cookie crumbles right now. Okay? So please do me a favor. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Consider becoming a member. A member of the family. Support the channel if you can. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? PascalMerch.com. We got some great stuff over there. Go check it out when you can. All right, guys, we got to get into this conversation, all right? Obviously, as you guys already know, 23-year-old Kada Scott went missing around October 4th after she walked out of her job to never be seen or heard from ever again. She was doing an overnight shift. She was in the middle of doing this overnight shift at this job. This assisted living job. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I guess she gets a text message, walks outside, and is never seen or heard from ever again, which still doesn't make any sense to me. But I'm still thinking my theories may be correct, or, I might be on the right trajectory. Okay, I might be in the right ballpark, because now we're starting to hear new information that I think is very interesting nonetheless. It's very, very interesting, because now we're seeing a timeline, and then we're also seeing text messages, or at least some of them, which is very, very interesting. And I don't know. Because a lot of y'all already, because some of you are already asking, like, Pascal, you see the text? Yeah, the samples of text that they gave. Now here's the thing. There, you could see, and I'm going to tell you guys the text messages here in a second. I promise you, okay? But here's the thing. Whether or not they are real or not, they still have them the police still have them in their possession, and they still have them. So This is some wild stuff. And it could mean two different things. It could mean three different things, actually, if you really think about it. But we're going to get into it in a little bit. All right. But for those of y'all who are still very, very new to this story and to this case, just a quick recap. This young woman right here, her name is Kada Scott. Okay, we got to tell a little bit of backstory before she went to work. Okay. So she went on a date. She actually went on a date before she went to work. So she squeezed in a quick date with a guy. All right. Hung out with this guy, blah, blah, blah. Went back home, changed, and then went to work at this overnight facility. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still want to go out and have a good time. You know, she's young. She has the energy. You know, she has that energy. She can go and, you know, kick it, have a good time, blah, 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 right? And then be able to go to work right after. And, you know, she's like, hey, you know, this guy wants to take me out. Why not? Because I'm going to be stuck in this job from 10 till 6 o'clock in the morning. Let me get this quick date in really quick so I can still keep my love life, you know, pumping, right? So I see nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Okay. And I can see some people like side eye. Oh, no, there's no reason to side eye. She was trying to consolidate her night. And she knew that she would have to be at work at 10. She was being very responsible. She did her thing. She had the date, went back home, got changed, went to the job. Okay. Then while she's at the job, minutes into her job, several minutes into her job, she gets some sort of text message, which causes her to go back outside into the parking lot to meet up with somebody, and then she disappears. But now we already know who the mother lover is, and it's this guy right here, Moneybags Keon King. Notice the car? Notice the hoopty in the background? I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. He flashed in the mud, but he got the hoopty though. And notice he's kind of being smart with the photo to a certain extent. The car is still jacked up. It's still a hoopty, okay? But he opened the door so you don't see how banged up, how jacked up it is. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that? Ain't nobody see how he's like catfishing with his car? Nobody see that? Just a little bit. Because he's thinking, no. If I open the door, no one's going to see how jacked up and banged up the side of the ride is. You feel me? And if I'm flashing all these ones, it's kind of like 10s and 20s. Okay, really, it's like 10s and 20s. If you zoom in, it's 5 10s and 20s. It's all good. I mean, you know, you make your money, boo boo. Do you? I guess. But at the same time, he's like, well, if everybody sees the fan of money, they won't look at the hoopty in the background. But anyway, I digress. It's fine. He making money moves, I guess, right? Well, not anymore because he's locked up. He's going to be locked up for good. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is Keon King, everybody. Take a good look. Take a good look. Take a good look. He's a hustler, baby. You know what I mean? And he just wants you to know. No? It ain't where I've been, but where I'm about to go. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this hustler right here, all right, is the guy who took part in the crime of Kada Scott. Now, let me just make this abundantly clear, all right? He did not operate alone. I will say this. He took this young girl's life. He took this young woman's life. And then he got somebody else to help him cover up the crime. We now have proof of that. We now have a timeline that says a lot. Cell phone data that says a lot as well. Text messages that are questionable. I don't think they're fake. I don't think this is a Tyler Robinson text message like, my love, I'm just here in the bushes waiting so I can retrieve my artillery, my love, so I can go run back into your arms. Make sure you have a frothy mug of mead as I return. No, definitely not. I think the text messages are real. I do. I know some of y'all are like, nah, that ain't real, man. No, it's real. It's definitely real. But what do they mean? And here's the thing. When it's in text message, it can mean so many different things. You understand that, right? When it's written in black and white, you can read it so many different ways. You know what I mean? You really can. So it does make you wonder what's really going on here, which we're going to get into in right now. All right? Because we're not going to be here for a super long time, but we're here for an informative and hopefully good time. You know, we're here to relax a little bit, be entertained just a tiny bit. But we got to get into some information because the stuff is weird. First and foremost, we now know, okay, that this Keon King stole a car, a black Hyundai Accent, a 2008 Hyundai Accent, which was black, on October 3rd, the night of her disappearance. Allegedly, she got into a black 2008 Hyundai Accent, the same car that he stole, and they drove off into the dark, into the night. Which, in my personal opinion, means there's premeditation here. But now we're getting more information. We heard a lot about this yesterday, and we discussed a lot about this yesterday. But now we got more info, and it's weird, especially the text messages. It's weird. So let's take a look at this. And don't worry, we're going to be we're going to be talking about this quite a bit because it could mean 15 million different things. All right. But first, hold on really quick. Corey, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. This young lady didn't deserve this. No, she did not. She does not. Doesn't matter if she was leading the guy on or if she did not lead the guy on. It does not matter. And I'm already saying a few things ahead of time because I have a feeling some of y'all are thinking the same things I'm thinking. But like I said, there's a multitude of possibilities here. Okay, multitude of avenues we could be going down. Real talk. So this young lady didn't deserve this. I agree. When he goes to jail, he needs to meet Bubba. Oh yeah, he gonna be wearing. You trust. You see his build. Okay, he's slim thick. Okay. Just in no time, he gonna be wearing Kool-Aid lipstick, holding the inside pocket of a man named Bubba. Watch. Give it time. Give it time. Give it time. Don't drop the soap. Just saying. Or a man named Diddy. Okay? So let's continue. All right? Keon King, charged with, her unaliving, of course, M charge. He has finally been hit with the M charge, as court documents reveal text messages, cell phone evidence. So these murder charges were filed against Keon King on Wednesday after the Philadelphia medical examiner ruled the cause of her demise a homicide, according to the city's district attorney's office. Now, new charges filed against King, 21, include murder, robbery, theft, tampering with evidence, abuse of corpse, obstruction of justice, and related offenses. He was previously charged with kidnapping, and arson, among other crimes as well. Now, Scott's body was found in a shallow grave, which we already know at the Ada Lewis Middle School, okay, in East Germantown, a shallow grave. Now, I want to also remind you, they said that they found additional human remains in that same area as well. That's important to remember, okay? We cannot forget that piece of information. We can't just suddenly go, oh, now we got these new updates on the timeline, and let's just forget that there was other human remains that were found out there. No, we need to keep pressing on them about that, because that could be somebody else's missing kid, missing loved one, period. So we need to stay on them about that, okay? Now, let us continue on. So in court records made public Wednesday morning for arson and conspiracy charges against King, investigators detailed cell phone evidence that they say connects King's cell phone to areas linked to Scott's disappearance and where her body was found. The document also includes information on text messages exchanged between King and Scott right before she disappeared. So, interesting stuff, right? Now, first off, you guys are saying a few things here. Here's the thing. When it comes to we already know about the M charge. We already know about the robbery. We already know about the theft, okay? Tampering with evidence. Obviously, that's like when they're burning the car, right? The abuse of corpse. Moving a body around, right? Taking it from one place to another. Possibly trying to burn the remains in the car as well. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and maybe dismemberment. You never know. It may be dismemberment. Actually, you know what? Let's do this off screen. Hold on. Let's do this. So, abuse of corpse is a criminal offense that involves the unlawful mistreatment or desecration of a body, including acts like mutilation, concealment, or disinterment. I don't know that word. I'm sorry. It is defined by state laws and can include actions that would outrage reasonable family or community sensibilities, such as theft or mishandling of the remains. So that's intentionally, okay, so disinterment is intentionally digging up or removing or concealing a body. Then, of course, there's mutilation or destruction, which, of course, like we were just talking about before, intentionally damaging or destroying a human corpse or its ashes. So he could have put her in the car, burned the car, and then, of course, it didn't work out. Maybe he may have tried to separate her, which is a possibility as well. They also say other examples of this would be mishandling, treating a corpse in a way that would outrage reasonable family or community sensibilities, such as theft from the deceased or mixing remains. And then, of course, SA, which is, of course, just disturbing and messed up as well. Just so you guys know. All right. So again, this could very well mean that maybe he did try to separate her. That is a possibility. But when they said they found additional human remains after they had recovered her body, you'd think that they would have had everything when they first got her. You got to understand. Hear me out. Let's just tap on that conversation for 1 second. The fact that they said additional human remains were found, right? Additional remains were found. Now, I understand some people would be like, yeah, then that must have been her. Maybe it was just other parts of her that they just didn't find before. But you'd think that they would seal off that place, that area, that crime scene before they knew for a fact the area was clear. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't. They were already packing things up and about to bounce, and then they found more remains. To me, that means she was not alone, that there's somebody else out there, and they used that place before. Why would they suddenly think of going to this elementary school or this middle school, abandoned middle school of all places? Why would they think to go and dig a body there or bury a body in that particular area? That just seems extremely strange that they would suddenly go, yeah, let's go bury her here specifically. Not let's find another place we can take her. No, we're going to go here. It just seems a bit odd. But we're going to talk about that more here in just a little bit, okay? We're going to talk about that more in just a little bit. But like I said, it just doesn't seem to make any sense. You know for a fact that whole area, if they felt like she was not fully intact or they didn't find all 10 fingers and toes, if you get what I'm saying, then they would easily say this place is cut off. This place has been literally taped off. No one be here. And then out of nowhere, we're hearing reports of additional remains being found. That is not her, y'all. I'm sorry. That is not her. Trust and believe. So when they do, that's why us as people, as the general public, court of public opinion, we need to be on the police, Philly PD, about this. Because it seems like they kind of did a little, either they were sloppy with recovering her remains, and then suddenly like, oh, a finger. That'd be weird. That'd be very sloppy work. Either the sloppy as hell, or this was a place where people or this particular person dumped bodies. That's it. Okay? It's crazy. But it'd be wild to me if 5-0 was like, oh, we just totally found a foot and it's hers. That'd be insane. That would be insane. You realize how dumb they would look, how sloppy 5-0 would look if they're like, oh, we forgot a foot. You see what I'm saying? That would be some sloppy work. So I believe that's an additional body or additional remains that are connected to a whole other person, whole other victim. That's what I truly think. But moving on, let's get back into the details here. So again, like I said, all kinds of stuff, tampering with evidence, the things with the corpse, obstruction of justice, and other related offenses. All right. And he's already being hit with kidnapping and arson. Remember, he turned himself in. And now we're starting to understand why. We're about to understand here in a second why he turned himself in. Because they were already on his ass. They were already on him, y'all. Okay? He was not going to walk out of this situation free anytime soon. Police were already on his ass before he turned himself in. Okay? So we already know her body was found in that shallow grave. So let's go into this. In court records made public today, this morning, more like this afternoon. But anyway, for arson and conspiracy, charges filed against King. Investigators detail cell phone evidence that they say connects King's cell phone to areas linked to Scott's disappearance and where her body was found. The document also includes information on text messages exchanged between King and Scott right before she disappeared. So the records obtained by CBS News Philadelphia show Scott received a dozen calls on the night of October 4th. Remember, October 4th is the night that she went and disappeared. The night before, remember, he stole a car. He stole a 2008 black Hyundai accent from a dude that was delivering food. The car was still running. He ran up, took the car in the middle of the night on October 3rd. The very next day, he is sending out dozens of phone calls on October 4th to Kada Scott's phone. The calls began from 9:25 p.m. and continued until 10:12 p.m., according to court documents. This is the same period police say Kada Scott, was arriving for work at a Chestnut Hill assisted living facility. According to court documents, text that read, "Kidnap me again." King replied, "Better be up to," followed by plans to meet later that night. Hear me out. Let's continue. Let them cook. Let me cook. Let them cook too. But I already know the wheels are spinning in your brains. What you think is going on? What you think is really going on? I got an idea. We're going to talk about it. At the same time, a coworker sees an upset Scott with court records alleging she overheard her on the phone saying, "I can't believe you're calling me about this ish or about this expletive." Court documents show the last exchange happens at 10:09 p.m. with the words, "CM when you hear," or this is what I think too, "Call me when you're here," according to court documents. Scott is seen leaving work in a dark-colored car described as the suspect's vehicle that he stole the night before, that 2008 black Hyundai Accent. Sources previously told CBS News Philadelphia their investigation found that she was unalived 20 minutes after she left work. All right. And there's more to this, but let's talk about this part first, because there's quite a bit to there's quite a bit of it's a big bite to chew. Hear me out. Okay. Many different theories are going on here. First off, okay, so he stole the car. Literally, he stole it from a guy doing DoorDash, for crying out loud, okay? 2008 black Hyundai Accent the night before. Then on the night of her disappearance, he starts calling her incessantly between 9:25, between a bunch of times between the times of 9:25 to 10:12. And I'm assuming 10:12 is when he called her again, basically saying, "Yo, I'm outside." And so he went outside, or she went outside, and then that's when she disappeared. But I think there's something else going on here. Okay, let's talk about it. We got to talk about this. Okay, we got to address the elephant in the room. Is this a situation where they were talking? It's possible. It's possible they were rapping. It's possible that they found something in common. Think about it. Think about it for a hot minute. Let me rap with y'all for a second, okay? Let's rap about this for a second. Now, I don't know how they initially met each other. It could just very well be that he was, in the neighborhood. He was one of those guys that just kind of was moving substances, doing his thing. You know what I mean? Some people online say, a pharmacist, street pharmacist, that kind of thing. He could very well have been the hookup, the plug, right? He had them trees, and she smokes. She smoked. There's footage of her on social media holding blunts and everything. So what are the chances of her finding out that he's got some of that good stuff, right? He got that smoke. She starts smoking with him. They start to bond a little bit. Or maybe she's just being kind to him because he's kind to her. And they also are enjoying that kind. You get what I'm saying? So maybe she is just trying to be nice to her plug. Not thinking anything serious. She's just a sweet girl. There already are stories about her being very kind, giving time to anybody. And that's not a bad thing. She's just a kind, sweet person. So what are the chances of her like smoking, having a good time, just being entertained by the person and being sweet and kind? But he's reading it as, oh, there's something here. Hear me out. Remember that interview or that video that we saw, that TikTok with Gabby? And she talks about, yeah, you know, it was a 29-second phone call, but he called me asking me questions about Kada. What are the chances of her being like, yeah, you know, she cool, blah, 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 whatever. Why you call me about this? Like, I got to study whatever she's doing, right? I got things to do. But he's like, I'm just trying to find out if she got a, you know what I'm saying? Just trying to find out if she got a man or something, right? What if he finds out that she does? Or she was talking to somebody else? And he gets in his feelings about it. Next thing you know, let me remind you, she was just leaving around 9. She got back home around 9:45 or so from a date. And that date was definitely not Keon. What are the chances? Him getting upset, finding out that she was on this date. Gets in his feelings about it because he thinks she's mine. You know what I'm saying? This is just a theory. Actually, let me pull this up here really quick because I know some of y'all be tripping. Hold on. Speculation warning. Okay? Speculation warning. What are the chances? Because think about this. Look at the timeline, y'all. Look at the timeline. She went on a date. She went home, immediately changed, and went back out to go to work. And then around the time of 9:25 to 10:12, he is lighting up her phone because he's crazy. And she's like, what? Because she's like, what are you talking? What? You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, because there's another text message, and I want to know the timeline of this text message too, which reads, let me highlight it for you. Kidnap me again. That to me, if depending on when that text message comes out, she could have literally sent that to him the day before or that night. See, okay. Because now I'm seeing this here. Followed by plans to meet later that night. Later that night. Probably to smoke. Like, kidnap me again. Pretty damn flirtatious. Okay? Pretty damn flirtatious if you are reading it. You got a girl being like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? I had such a great time with you last time where we just drove around, we smoked. Just think about that. Had a great time kicking it with him. We drove around, we smoked, we listened to music. We were just vibing out. He kidnapped me, he took me away from whatever, and I had a great time. So now she's like, oh yeah, kidnap me again. And he says, better be up too. You know what I mean? Better be up to Maybe he's like, you better be up to it, or you better be up. I don't know what that means, right? But she's definitely flirting. Don't you think a little bit? Listen, that does not mean that this woman should have lost her life. Hell to the no. She did nothing wrong. She's young. She's a young, beautiful woman. She was having an opportunity to hang out and have some fun. So maybe she was like, yo, okay, kidnap me again. I gotta work. I gotta go to work, but maybe you swing through and you just kidnap me again like we did last time. That's what it sounds like. Well, obviously, the again gives me the idea that they have done this before, right? That they have hooked up. Maybe they haven't, you feel me, linked up like that, but maybe they hooked up, hung out, that kind of thing. And then also it could be her sitting there saying, kidnap me again, could just be like keeping him at bated breath. You see what I'm saying? Calming him down. Because remember, he was calling like 12 times in a row from 9:21, from 9:25 or something like that till about 9:25 to 10:12. Damn. So maybe she was like, hey, we good. Just, let's just kidnap me again later. You know what I mean? Like, we good. And she's just trying to keep him at bay instead of having this ravenous, rabid dog go ham. Now, I know my theory might be completely out of this world. Okay? It might not make any bloody sense. But there's still a possibility because there's clearly a history here. And I think she got hooked up with the smoke. Maybe she was getting a little bit of free smoke by, a little harmless flirtation. Because that stuff ain't cheap, right? And it always smokes better when it's free. I'm just saying. So what if she was using her charm? She knows what she got, so maybe she was using her charm. Think about that for a second. Y'all. Think about it. Think about it for like 2 seconds. Real talk. Like I said, this is not to, this is no dig at her or anything. May she rest in peace. I don't think she did anything wrong. Even if she was like two-timing him or something like that, she still doesn't deserve what happened to her. Period. Okay? I think she went out on the date. He got in his feelings about it. She tried to calm him down. Basically being like, yo, hey, kidnap me again. We're fine. We're cool, And he's like, you better be up to it type thing. Like you know what I'm saying? Now, Tina, you gonna eat that cake? Like, come on now. Really? That's a little creepy, right? Let's not forget the phone calls he was making back to back to back to back to back to back to back after she got done with that date too, on her way getting back home to change to go to work. That's crazy too. That cray-cray, right? Just hear me out. So then, at the same time, a coworker sees an upset Scott, Kada, with court records alleging she's overheard on the phone saying, I can't believe you're calling me about this ish. He could have been losing his doggone mind on the phone on her. And she's like, what? What you tripping about? Like, I'm my own woman. Like, what the hell? You see what I'm saying? Like, we are not a thing. What are you talking about? Why are you tripping? You see what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about it for a second, y'all. Think about it. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But then, still, call me when you're here. Last exchange happens at 10:09. Text exchange happens around 10:09 with the words CM when you hear. Call me when you're here. So then she goes outside. She gets into a dark colored car, the same car that he stole the night before, and they drive off into the night. So my thought is, she is trying to calm him the F down. He's heated about something. And I think he's heated with the fact that she went out on a damn date. And he did not like that at all. And maybe the phone calls that he was having with other people, like with Gabby or something like that, all of it was just trying to find out if she had a man or not. And if he was wasting his time. Maybe he was like, yo, I kept on hooking her up with all kinds of smoke, and I was doing this, this, and this. I'm hoping that she was going to, be with me. But she out on a date doing Top Golf? The hell? You see what I'm saying? And you also got to remember, this dude is insane. He's gone. He's a violent individual, which any little thing is going to pop and set him freaking off. Where he's already claiming that the women that he sets his sights on are his possession. Let me cook. Notice the moment when he jumped over that fence and he had his sights set on those two girls. And then he left. Those girls tried to leave the house. And then he went and he took one of those girls with his 2-year-old in the backseat of that nasty hoopty. Remember that? We've already heard about the other active protection from abuse order that's still active until 2027 from a third victim. We also have a suspect. He's a suspect in a prior R case from a fourth victim. You mean to tell me this is somebody who's just going to show up to your front door with his hat in his hand being like, well, sir, hi there, Kada. Hi, how you doing? Evening, ma'am. I wanted to talk to your dad. Father of Kada, I'd like to ask if I could take your daughter down to the local sassafras. Like, no, he's not doing that. He's not doing that. This is not a gentleman. Okay? Ain't nothing old school about Keon. You understand that, right? He sets his sight on something, it's his. That's it. Look at his track record, y'all. So when he's sitting there and he's being real nice to her, I'm sure. Okay? Probably the most beautiful woman he's ever talked to. He's ever tried to talk to. Probably the most beautiful woman that has ever sat in his nasty ass hoopty ride and spent more than just 2 minutes talking to him. More than just 2 hits of that blunt. I'm being real. So he's like, oh man, starstruck. I don't know, Twitter-pated. Okay? But suddenly, oh snap, she out here? Oh, she out here. She out here dating. What? And he loses his mind. And she's a nice person. And she's also scared. So she's trying to keep things cool. Call me when you get here. We got to talk. Let me see if I can talk him down and calm him down. But I guess it didn't work out. Clearly, it didn't work because there's more to this. Let's get into it. Now, of course, that's just my theory. I could be absolutely wrong, but I think that this has to do with jealousy all day long. Now, I'm not sitting here saying my theory is 110% ironclad. This is just a theory. I think he felt played. I think he got mad, and he also is a possessive individual and doesn't know how to handle his own feelings and control his own feelings. Okay? This man is crazy. But there's more to this, though. So after she says, CM when you here, or call me when you are here, he does pull up in that stolen car, and then they drive off into the night, right? So in court records, investigators say cell phone data shows King and Scott, they arrived together at the Aubrey Rec Center parking lot that was next to that middle school. So he drove her to that area. He drove her to near that abandoned middle school area. Surveillance cameras picked up their arrival and showed the car backing into a parking lot. So at 10:24 p.m., Scott's cell phone stops transmitting a signal. You realize that she got into the car. Look. The text message, okay? The text message happened of call me when you get here was at 10:09 p.m. Now, they say at 10:24, not even 20 minutes, her cell phone stops transmitting a signal, which means her life was taken. Her life was straight up taken like that. In anger. Then she gets a phone call. Coworkers see or overhear her being like, I can't believe you called me about this ish. What the hell? Why you tripping? Damn. And it's like, all right, fine. You're gonna come up. Fine. Okay. Call me when you get here. We're just gonna talk about it. We'll talk it out. And I think because she was a good-natured person, she was hoping that she would be able to talk him off that angry ledge that he was standing on, right? Before he does anything more extreme or more crazy. Maybe she was hoping that she could just calm him down. And it didn't go the way that she wanted it, unfortunately. Okay? But still, dude was unhinged. And that's the sad part. So again, 20 minutes, they say. 20 minutes. She was gone. Her life was gone 20 minutes after she left work. This is what they found out in their investigation. Philadelphia's investigation, or the PD's investigation, they found out that, she lost her life 20 minutes after she walked out of that facility. Okay? So, again, her phone stops transmitting at 10:24. That signal's turned off. So he turned off her phone. And then she was reported missing the very next day. 24 hours later, the night of October 5th, police say a Toyota Camry, that hoopty, owned by Keon King, pulled into the rec center parking lot. That gold, metallic, ugly eyesore 1999 Toyota Camry pulled up in the rec center parking lot 24 hours later. Two people exited the car and are seen going to the vacant middle school. Two people. Two people are moving around. Let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you. She lost her life before they even pulled in to that rec center parking lot. I think she lost her life in the parking lot of her assisted living facility, of her job. That's what I think. I think she lost her life right there in that parking lot. She went outside to talk to him, and all hell broke loose. Okay? It's bad. There's more, though. Oh, there's more. I believe he did this, and then he said, oh, snap. Or he was like, okay, I know exactly where I'm going to go put her. And that's when he took the car, parked it at this rec center that's nearby the abandoned middle school, because he knew exactly that he was going to take the body of Kada's and put her in that yard of that middle school. That's what I feel. I think he took her life quickly, y'all. And then the drive, she was gone for most of the drive. That's what I think. And that's when he drove out there, because he knew he was going to discard the body right in that area. That's what I think. So 2 people exited the car and are seen going to the vacant middle school. Hours later, court records allege they returned to the car, remove a heavy object consistent with a human body, and move in a direction beyond the parking lot into the area where investigators say Scott's heavily decomposed remains were found in a shallow grave on Saturday. Police say that the Hyundai accident was set on fire on October 7th. So here's the thing. You have October 5th, she was reported missing. She lost her life that night on October 4th. Remember that? So 24 hours later, on the 5th, the same day that she was reported missing, his hoopty pulled up to that rec center. 2 people got out of the car and went to that place, went to the vacant middle school. Hours later, they went back to the car, removed the body, and buried her out there. So she was not set on fire, just so you know. So 2 days later, they went back to the Hyundai that was still in the parking lot of the rec center, or at least nearby the vacant school. And they set that car on fire 2 days after she was buried in a shallow grave. So she was not inside. She was not inside that car when the car was set on fire. I want that to be abundantly clear. All right. So on October 9th, police executed a search warrant at a home in the 5500 block of Belmar Terrace. And apparently 2 women, they don't say that here, but we're going to hear that in a video here soon. But 2 women were actually detained and brought in for questioning that were living or staying in that same area as well. Okay. So the home, the warrant at the home, they did a search warrant at the home in the 5500 block of Belmar Terrace and found 3 phones, 1 tablet, contractor bags, latex gloves, a hammer, and 9mm ammunition, according to court documents. Prosecutors say they were able to piece together King's alleged involvement by tracking his cell phone, as well as picking up his movements on surveillance cameras. So he was no matter what, thank God he was dumb, and thank God he was sloppy, but he was dumb and sloppy. Okay? So again, they went back to the house, a place that he was living, by the way, the 5500 block of Belmar Terrace. Allegedly, they detained 2 women, but they were later released. They brought them in, detained, and brought them in for questioning. Those 2 women were released, though. They're not detained or under arrest at all. They found 3 phones, 1 tablet, contractor bags, latex gloves, a hammer, and a 9mm ammunition. And they were able to track all of this through his cell phone and because he was sloppy and getting caught on camera. The day after the car was torched, police made an urgent plea to the public to help in finding Scott. King declined a police interview after he turned himself in on October 14th. Now, here's the thing. He turned himself in on December 14th. Why? Because on October 9th, they were already all up in his ass. So I take back what I said about 5-0. I was like, 5-0 didn't do anything. He turned his ass in. He turned himself in. Nope. They were already doing their due diligence. And on the 5 days before he turned himself in, they were already all up in his home. They were already all up in his stuff, taking all of his things and all of the evidence and starting to stack up a case against him. So he knew this was coming. He knew this was inevitable. Hence the reason why he turned his ass in. Police were already doing all the work. So shout out to the police. So moving on, our office remains in continued communication with the parents for him. Okay. He ain't getting out. He ain't got that money. Okay. I don't think anybody's going to try to bail him out either. All right. But he is looking at some serious time no matter what. Here's the thing, though. Where are the other people? Who is the second person that helped him move the body from the car to that shallow grave? That's the piece that they still have not found for this puzzle. That's the one thing I'm having an issue with, because it clearly says to me that this person knew what to do, knew the breakdown, knew that there was a job that had to be that needed to be done in regards to getting the body out of the car and put into this shallow grave in an area at an abandoned middle school. Let me say this again. The fact that he drove to that place in the first place says so many things. It speaks volumes, y'all. It's not like he sat there and it's not like they said he drove around for a while trying to figure out, like he drove around for a while and then pulled up eventually to this abandoned elementary school. No. He did what he did to her. And while she is either passing away or had already been deceased, 20 minutes within seeing him, he was already pulling up to the abandoned school. What does that say to you? I'll tell you what, it tells me that this is a spot that he likes to go to. And that those additional remains that were found in that area may be from him. Like I said, could be another victim. Real talk. But we'll see. Let's go over to this real quick.
First at 6, we're following breaking developments in the case of Kada Scott, the Philadelphia medical examiner just ruling her death a homicide. And we now have the court paperwork after murder charges were approved for Keon King. He's the same man charged in her kidnapping. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Sheba Russell. A motive is still not known as the investigation nears a third week now. We want to get straight out to our Kelly Rule. Kelly, a lot of new information since we last checked in with you at 5.
Yes, Sheba, a lot of new details coming into the newsroom. Again, we can tell you that the district attorney's office officially announced homicide charges against 21-year-old Keon King. That is for the murder of 23-year-old Kada Scott. He's now also facing nearly a dozen other new charges. And again, he was already in custody on charges connected to Kada's disappearance. And as you mentioned, we obtained court Court documents that reveal new details about the case, including text messages between 23-year-old Kada Scott and 21-year-old Keon King, who again is now charged with Kada's murder. Documents say Kada and King communicated between September 28th and October 4th, which is the day she disappeared. And on October 4th at 10:07 p.m., Kada allegedly text messaged King saying, quote, "Kidnap me again," to which King replied, quote, "Better be up too," followed by plans to meet later that night. The last text exchange between the two at 10:09 p.m. read, "CM when you're here." Documents also state that night, again, the last night Kada was seen alive, a coworker of Kada's at the terrace at Chestnut Hill, where Kada was last seen, reported to police that Kada was on the phone around 10 outside the building and appeared upset, and was overheard saying, quote, "I can't believe you're calling me about this," followed by an expletive. Now, that eyewitness told police Kada got into a dark-colored SUV parked outside that immediately drove off. Documents also revealed new details about what was captured on Albury Recreation Center cameras, which is right next to the former Ada Lewis Middle School where Kada's body was found. We know from the district attorney's office that a black Hyundai Accent was parked in the lot for days and later set on fire in a different location, and they tied that vehicle to Keon King. They also said a gold Toyota Camry was in the lot the same time the Hyundai Accent was. Documents now say 2 people can be seen on camera approaching that black Hyundai Accent on October 5th, the day after Kada disappeared, around 11:30 at night. And documents say they could be seen removing a heavy object consistent with the human body towards the general area where Kada's body was later found. That means investigators could be looking for at least 2 others that might have helped King move her body. Now,
2 others. 2 more people. 2 more people. They only said 1, at least in that report. But I'm just hearing that now, and I've heard this video. I didn't catch that. 2 other people, and that is interesting. Don't worry, we got a couple of videos to look at. But there's 2 things I want to point out. Let me just let her cook here. Hold on, she's almost done.
Again, police have not announced any additional arrests, but have said their investigation is active and ongoing.
Okay. So this is still obviously ongoing. We still don't have all the answers, right? But let me just okay. First off, I'm just asking questions. All right, I'm asking questions, and I know some people are getting in their fifis about this. And if you have a problem with how I'm talking about, and addressing this, I mean, there's plenty of other people out here that are talking about this case as well. You can go over there. Okay. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything of that sort. I'm just asking the questions, and I just talk the way I talk. All right. And cover this case and many, many other cases. But here's the thing. Okay. Because I'm not here to be disrespectful to anyone except for Keon. All right. Because he's trash. All right. But here's the thing. All right. Here's the thing. We haven't talked about the other part. And this is what I was getting scared to ask about as well, because God forbid people get in their feelings about asking mother-loving questions that everybody should be asking anyway, right? As we're talking about these cases. But I'm going to say it anyway. First off, very interesting that they're looking for at least 2 other people. There could be some jealousy going on, not only just from Keon, but outside of Keon. Okay? Real talk. But here's the other thing. Oh, good God. But I'm going to ask, I got to. What if they were actually bumping uglies? Ah, damn. I said it. What if they were actually bumping uglies? I haven't, we did the whole kidnap me again thing, right? She sent out that text, kidnap me again, right? What if kidnap me again was like, they taking you out, and he taking her out, and he, you know what I mean? And he, you know what I'm saying? They're smoking and having a good time, and I'm just saying, I know that's a part that I know everybody's like, ew, but at the same time, Think about it for a second. He's a bad boy. She is a good girl. Good girls really like bad boys. All I'm saying, don't at me, okay? Hold up, time out. Hold up. Don't at me. Don't be mad at me, okay? Because here's the thing: when people like each other, those things do happen, and I can't explain attraction, and adults be doing adult things. I can't explain why somebody happens to put a plug in a socket. I can't explain it. I don't understand where there's a spark, but I'm just asking. I'm just asking the question. We have to ask it. I was being really nice earlier, but we do have to ask that hard question. Could they have been in something romantic? Just saying. Why would he be that livid unless he's just, like I said, unless he's just that insane, which is still a possibility. You got to leave everything on the table here, guys, and ask all the questions. When you have somebody say, kidnap me again, like what is that? What does that mean? She went on a date that night. I'm just asking the question, y'all. Maybe she saw him as just, someone she can have fun with. He saw something more serious. But she's on a date with somebody who might be more up to her speed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Looks really good on paper. Husband material. I'm sorry, I'm just saying it. Because somebody got to ask it. She went on a date to Top Golf. Okay? No disrespect to Top Golf. Top Golf it's fun. But it's not like they were, and it was almost like a day date. So then it's like she does the date, she goes off to work, kidnap me again. That could also mean like, what's up? You know what I mean? I'm just asking the question. It's either they were getting together, to maybe smoke a little herbage and have a good time, and that's it. And it was just friendly. Just a platonic thing that he just took to a whole other level in his own mind. Or something romantic happened. He took it a lot more serious than she did. And he lost his mind over it. Oh, snap. Debbie just said role play. Oh, my dear God. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about that. I don't know if I'm ready to go there. I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for that. 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 But I'm looking at either she was, just a very sweet, kind person. Maybe they smoked a little bit. She smokes. Nothing wrong with that. That's how they bonded. And it was it. But he took that somewhere else. You got to remember the other girls that he attacked. I don't know their history with the guy, but I can only assume that he grew an infatuation with these girls without even actually having, you know what I mean? Without ever having any type of physical connection with them in that way. Does that make sense? But the fact that you say, kidnap me again, that sounds like, come hither. You know? Come get me. You know? You know? Okay. So, of course, we have to ask that question. Okay? We definitely have to ask that question. We can't just not ask that question. I think it's very sloppy for us not to bring up that piece of information and ask the questions that need to be asked. And that's definitely one of them. It's whoa, wait a second. What the hell what does kidnap me mean? Because that could mean so many different things, y'all. It can mean so many different things. Hamburger. Let's listen.
Breaking right now at 4 o'clock, the Philadelphia medical examiner has now ruled Kada Scott's death a homicide. That laid word from police this afternoon, who now say they're recommending murder charges against Keon King, the man already charged in her disappearance. All this happening just hours after new court documents reveal details about phone calls and text messages between King and Scott on the very day she went missing. It is Wednesday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News is the major development in the Kada Scott death investigation. While we now know her death has been ruled a homicide, we still don't know exactly how she died.
Action News reporter Chad Padelli live in East Mount Airy with all the developments today. Quite a busy day, Chad.
Yeah, like you said, the Philadelphia Police Department announced just a few moments ago that the medical examiner had ruled that Kada Scott's death was a homicide. It was announced on Twitter by Deputy Commissioner Frank Venor. Now, I do know how Kada Scott was murdered. We're not releasing that information, to making sure that the family has been notified. But police department is recommending to the DA to file those murder charges, and just a few of the new details we're learning about the disappearance and murder of Kada Scott.
Hold on, real quick. Somebody just said this too, and it's possible. Okay. Marie, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. But where did it go? I saw it in the corner of my eye. Yeah, I mean, Dewan just said this. Okay, most cats will only steal cars for a drill. If you don't know what drill means, it means like rakakaka. Okay. So here's the thing. What if he found out that she was going on dates before he went and got the car? You see what I'm saying? I'm just saying there's still a possibility that he, you know what I mean, got the car because he was mad and he was planning to do some bad. You know what I'm saying? But anything's possible. All right. Anything's possible. I mean, obviously, when we get more information from police and with this trial, and when they catch the other mother lovers, we'll find out more information. But here's the other thing too. What if, remember Gabby's video? She had a phone conversation with him for 29 seconds. What if he was calling her to see if Kada was in a relationship with somebody? Hey, is she seeing anybody? Yo, Gabby, is she seeing anybody? Hell, Kada Scott. You know Kada, right? Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know. She might be talking to this other dude. I don't know. Why you calling me about this? That could be it. I mean, I heard she had a boyfriend or something. Like that. That's possible. You see what I'm saying? It's possible. But I don't know. How would he know? You see what I'm saying? How would he know to make her so mad? Here's the other piece of information too. Let's not forget, parents of now deceased Kada Scott were saying that Kada was complaining about getting harassing phone calls before she disappeared. Is it only between the time of 9:25 and 10:12 that she was complaining about? Because they said something about text messages and stuff like that using a text me or text now app that makes your numbers your phone number anonymous and all that stuff, right? Right? So some weird is going on. Some weird. So I'm like, okay, who else was harassing her? And I'm sure she had other haters. I'm sure she had haters. Okay, you got someone who at least, on the surface, at least in social media, it looks like she's got her ish together, right? And everything is, nothing's impossible for her, right? Big time achiever, right? High achiever. So who else was harassing this girl, right? They haven't talked about that. They have not covered that at all. That's weird. Hold on real quick. Let me get these. Beautiful Messy Ball, thank you so much for the love and for being a member for 10 months. I appreciate it. You do you, Pascal. You're good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just, some people just hop in and they don't understand. They hop in the middle of the show and they just think I'm just being a jerk, throughout the whole show. And it's like, no, I'm not being a jerk. This is just how I tell my stories. Okay, this is how I cover cases. That's all. I want justice for everybody. I want justice for Kada. I want these possible two other people, to be brought to justice. But I also want to know what really happened here, right? What's the origin story? What's the reason why Keon King lost his mind? I keep thinking, I don't think it had anything to do with money. I really don't. So like I said, I feel like it's something else. I feel like it's something romantic. I really do. Not trying to be disrespectful to Kada. It's just because I get it. It's him. But at the same time, anything's possible, y'all. The man has children. Children. I just want you to know that. He's got children. So somebody out there found him attractive. Okay? Just saying, put that in your pipe and smoke on it for a minute. Damn. That's a damn. Disturbia, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. The 22nd call or the 29-second call was an outgoing call. Oh. I'm gonna have to circle back on that Gabby video again. That's interesting too, right? That's interesting too. That's very weird. Why would she call? Y'all, Gabby got some explaining to do. Okay? That Haitian dude, hey, sac passe. But here it is, though. They love criminal. Come on now. Like I said, the goodies, the goody two-shoe girls, they are always they're just known for running towards the bad boys. They all love the bad boys. Okay? It's the truth. The bad girls want a nice guy, and the nice girls want the bad boys. That's just usually how it goes. All right? In a blanketed statement. I understand. Some of y'all are like, no, I'm not like that. I'm a good woman. I got a good man. Well, good on you, girl. Good on you. Okay? Keep holding it down. Keep holding it down. But in the blanketed statement, nice girls want a bad boy. Bad girls want the nice boy. It just is how it is. I'm sorry. So when you see something like this, I'm going, well, did she just like his thuggish, ruggish bone? You know what I mean? Did she just like how thuggish, ruggish he was? How ratchet? You know what I mean? Could it be? It could be. But then maybe not. Maybe she was just a very nice girl who liked to smoke. He had the hookup. And they bonded somehow. And he read into it the wrong way, thinking that there was a chance. You know what I'm saying? But instead, she's saying, like in that scene in Dumb and Dumber, not in a million years will I ever be with you. And what did Jim Carrey's character say? So there is a chance. You see what I'm saying? So, something to think about. Let's continue. Let's let this man cook.
Keon King's alleged criminal conspiracy began just before midnight on October 3rd, when court records say he stole a Hyundai Accent left unattended and running by a food delivery worker on the 6600 block of Sprague. Investigators say he'd used that stolen car to meet up with Kada Scott the following night. Charging documents say Scott and King made plans to meet up, with the final exchange between the two being, quote, CM when you hear. 6 minutes later at 10:15 p.m., investigators say the two appeared to be together near Scott's place of employment based on cell phone data. It'd be the last time Scott would be seen alive. At 10:24 p.m., Kada Scott's phone goes offline. 4 minutes later, the Hyundai Accent parks at the Arboretum, and the vehicle remains there. Using cell phone technology, investigators track King to this house on the 5500 block of Belmar Terrace. A search of the house turned up contractor bags, a hammer, and ammunition, among other items, according to the complaint. 2 women who live there were detained and interviewed but released.
You heard it right there. 2 women were detained, brought in for questioning, but then they were later released. But you mean to tell me that they don't know anything about this? Seems a little bit odd, don't you think? I mean, Medusa just said, is he a hitman? I don't think he's a hitman. I just think he's a crazy person that doesn't know how to control his feelings and doesn't know the meaning of no. Okay? And yes, thank you so much for saying that, Nia. Thank you. Okay? You got contractor bags, which basically means like bags for bodies, right? They're big trash bags, basically, right? Big hefty bags, trash bags, just so you know. Okay. So again, he knew as soon as he did what he did to her, to go to this abandoned schoolyard. Why? They found additional remains in that same area as well. Could that be the spot that he goes and he does things to get rid of certain things? And it may not only be women. It could be men too. And I don't mean in some sexual way. I'm saying like he could be having beef with people and he gets rid of those people. That's possible. I'm not saying that is the thing, okay? It's just possible, right? So I want you guys to remember that too. Marie, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. I appreciate your support. Emily, thank you so much. Love your energy, respect, and hard work. Much love, and God bless you and your family. Thank you so very much. Whoops, wrong thing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, to all you guys too, God bless all y'all, all your families and everything, okay? Please stay safe out here because people are insane, all right? People are just insane. And I feel like nowadays we're getting to that place where, you know how we're always just like extra nice to that person that just seems a little like, like I feel like now we're at that place where we just need to walk away. Like we don't even need to be nice to the people anymore. Just go to the other side of the street. Just be done. You know what I mean? Because this is just crazy what we're hearing here. And you never know. Oh, this is a crazy theory. I'm just going with it. F it. I'm just gonna say it. Okay, remember she says kidnap me, right? Kidnap me again. So she says, call me when you get here. Now this is so weird, but what if she was hoping for a quickie, trying to calm him down, but like still, you know what I mean? Why would she leave her job like that? You see what I'm saying? Kidnap me again. Call me when you get here. You don't think that maybe she's done this before, like just left the work, left the job for like 20 minutes? You know, I got a 20-minute break, that kind of thing. I know that sounds crazy. And instead of her going and getting her, superior Caesar salad, okay, she's, you know what I'm saying? It's possible. Or she's just like, I just need a straight up smoke break. Yeah. Like Snoops just said. Maybe she's just going over there for, you know what I mean? Like a quick blaze real quick. You know, doo-doo-doo. Not the slurping sound. That was bad. I did not mean that. I meant, smoky smoke. Maybe that. Maybe. I don't know. But that is interesting though. Kidnap me again. That there's a double meaning. There's a possible double meaning in that. Okay, guys?
King was not at the house. The criminal complaint says King's cell phone was tracked taking multiple trips between the Belmar Terrace home and the area where Scott's body was found. At 11:39 p.m. on October 5th, court records say King's registered Toyota Camry was caught on surveillance returning and parking at the recreation center next door to where Scott's body was found. It says 2 people exited the vehicle, and 4 hours later, 2 individuals appeared to take a large object consistent with the body out of the Hyundai Accent.
Okay. Again, like I said, we've already heard all of this before, but that's some crazy stuff though, right? This is all crazy stuff. And you know what's even more crazy is that Corey has done that before on a break. What are you talking about? Like smoking the ganj or getting it in? Either way, both are diabolical. Okay? Either way, both are diabolical. All right? Diabolical. All right? Just saying. But I'm sure people have done it before. I don't think it's a far-fetched idea. You also got to remember, it's the overnight shift. So I'm sure it's a little bit more lax. I'm sure over there. There are no cameras, y'all. Let me remind you again, there are no cameras inside or outside the facility. So what if, you know what I mean? She's in there, doing, you know what I'm saying? Smoking, God knows what, doing whatever she's wanting to do. There's no cameras. People could be running laps buck naked around that freaking facility, and there would be no cameras capturing their boo-hooties. Nothing. So it does make you wonder, like, anything's possible here, y'all. Anything. Come kidnap me, does translate in so many different ways. All right? So many different ways, man. Okay? Think about it.
And so far, King is charged with kidnapping, theft, arson, and other related charges, but so far not murder. But those charges are expected, I'm told. No other accomplices at this point have been charged. Police continue to investigate, though. I did reach out to King's attorney, and so far have not heard back.
Okay, of course, King's attorney's not going to say a damn thing, because this is all messed up. But hold on.
In Chad's report, police are trying to piece together the communication between Kada Scott and Keon King in the days and hours before her disappearance. One particular text that's now part of the investigation was sent at 10:07 a.m. on October 4th, nearly 12 hours before Scott disappeared. In it, she texted the words, quote, "Kidnap me again," to a number that police have now linked to King. The reply that came back, quote, "Better be up too," which was followed by specific plans to meet later that night. We were asking police if they can shed light on the context of that alarming exchange. We do not yet have a response.
Hold on.
Light on
Police have
Hold on.
10:07 appearance.
Hold on.
One particular text that's now.
We need to hear that one more time, because there's something there, because that's a piece that I've been wanting to know. The text messages were 10 hours or sorry, 12 hours before she actually disappeared. So 10 in the morning, sometime 10 in the morning, they were sending text messages. Let me just get this correct.
Part of the investigation was sent at 10:07 a.m.
10:07 a.m. that day. The night or the day, the morning of the day that she went missing. Okay? The morning of the day she went missing. That's one piece of information I wanted to point out too. The text messages that she sent him were the kidnap me thing was at 10 o'clock in the morning. Let me make that abundantly clear. Hold up.
One particular text that's now part of the investigation was sent at 10:07 a.m.
in the morning,
October 4th, nearly 12 hours before Scott disappeared.
Hold on.
In it, she texted the words, quote, "Kidnap me again," to a number that police have now linked to King. The reply that came back, quote, "Better be up too," which was followed by specific plans to meet later that night. We were asking police if they can shed light on the context of that alarming exchange. We do not yet have a response.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So she sent a text to him at 10:07 a.m. that morning, the morning of her disappearance, saying, "Kidnap me again." And he said, "Better be up too." And then later, text messages that were basically detailing plans to meet up that night. So either this was her going like, "Hey, let me, kidnap me again so we can drive around in your car and we can smoke a little bit and do whatever. Just hang out." Totally innocent, right? Or kidnap me again because I'm hoping we can go maybe smoke a little bit, drive down the street and, do a little whoop-de-woo. Why would he text her, "Better be up too"? If it was just to like smoky smoke or get a little, you know what I mean? Or, hook her up with some green. Think about that for a second. They were going to hang out. That's it. And that hangout could have been something serious. You know what I mean? A little hibbity-dibbity. Or it could have literally been them just getting together, like smoking green and waxing philosophical. You never know. And he just took things really seriously, thinking that this was going to be something more as far as this platonic relationship, and he's already crazy. Or they were doing more. They were already doing that hibbity-dibbity. He was expecting more from it, but she was already going out on dates with other dudes who are, talking about their 401ks and their timeshares that they got. And the brand new whip just hopped in. You see what I'm saying? Playing Top Golf. Literally eating overpriced fried food and swinging balls into a net. Literally. Top Golf. Think about it for a second. Put that in your pipe and smoke on it for a little second. Listen. I don't have any issues. All right, no beef with Top Golf. I'm just saying. Literally, it's not like she was going to like a club or something. She was at Top Golf with a guy. straight up. Top golf. With him probably talking about his career and what he's about, his plans on this, that, and the third, and he's investing in properties and crap. You never know. Just talking typical boring stuff. Nothing interesting and exciting as, or as dangerous as Keon King's story in life. Real talk. He pulled up in a stolen whip to pick her up. Now, was that for her? I feel like it was. I truly feel like it was. I feel like that was premeditation. But he could have just stolen the car for the sake of stealing the car for something completely different. But, she might have really liked the bad boy like that. Ooh, you stole this car last night? Damn, you so bad. I'm just saying. Some girls like that stuff. I know that's insane, but it's true. Gavin, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. I'm just saying. You got to put all the options out there. This is not me trying to belittle this woman or say anything. No, not at all. Not at all. But those are the questions that have to be asked. Kidnap me again could mean so many different things. You see what I'm saying? So many different things. So again, this is very interesting. And again, let me just, how old are they? She's 23 years old. He's 21. Young. Anything's possible. We got a little bit more. Hold on. We got a little bit more. And do me a favor, guys. Yeah, and she was very, very young. He had kids. She has no kids, from my understanding. If I'm correct, she has no kids. He has kids. Okay. He most definitely got kids. Now, one thing is for sure. Damn, those likes are low. Can you do me a favor and hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Please hit that like. Show some love, please and thank you. Crush it. Hit that like. Okay. Can we get it to 1K real quick? That would really mean the world to me. Okay. Excuse me. Hit that like button down below. Okay. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please and thank you. Subscribe. Okay. Don't forget to do that, y'all. Please and thank you. We got a few more things to look at. Some things are repeating themselves. So there is something I want to pull up here, but I want to hear this really quick just to see if there's any new updates, because this is about 13 minutes old. So let me play this for you guys.
Major developments in what is now a homicide investigation of 23-year-old Kada Scott. A medical examiner today officially ruling her manner of death as a homicide. It comes just 18 days after she disappeared. And tonight, we're learning more about what led police to their suspect, Keon King.
The district attorney charging the 21-year-old with murder and other charges following the ME's ruling. Kada Scott disappeared the night of October 4th. Her remains were found just 2 weeks later at the former Ada Lewis Middle School in Germantown. More now on the list of charges that King is facing, including robbery and abuse of a corpse. Our Steve Keeley is live tonight for us. And Steve, we now know that Kada and King were texting with each other.
Well, legal filings in the case reveal the evidence that police obtained to make their case for murder against Keon King, and also show how he tried to cover it up and got help after. At 10:07 a.m. on the morning of October 4th, 12 hours before she was last seen, Kada Scott texted, "Kidnap me again," to her accused killer, Keon King, followed by plans to meet later that night, the affidavit of probable cause states, supporting homicide, abuse of corpse, and conspiracy charges, among 11 more crimes filed against King. Detectives don't know yet what Kada possibly meant with that "kidnap me again" text, whether she had been taken before by him, or if her text was her just joking around to help her skip work that turned into awful, deadly irony.
Okay. Yeah, not the first part. Like she's been taken before. No, that definitely was not the case. Okay. This is definitely the latter part of what they just said. Hey, take me out of here. Get me out of here. Turn my brain off for a second. Right? Which could mean literally just smoking some herb or just hanging out or doing something else. You know what I mean? Doing that hibbity dibbity. That's still a possibility, right? But this is very crazy.
Also in the court filing, video evidence King had help taking Kada Scott's body from a stolen car and burying her in the shallow grave behind the long vacated Philadelphia public school, supporting the conspiracy charges. Detectives believe King killed Kada Scott within the hour she got into his car where she worked, and her body was left in that car for a full day after. The next night, Sunday, October 5th, the affidavit states video shows King returned to the lot he parked that car in with Kada's body, but wasn't alone. Arriving in the gold Toyota Camry police recovered last week, video from the nearby Philadelphia Rec Center surveillance camera shows two individuals on foot approached the suspect vehicle after waiting 4.5 hours until 3:56 a.m.
Okay. I'm rolling that back here in a second. But here's something else, because I know Corey said earlier, he probably pulled up got that car because he was going to do something bad. But I'm gonna ask the question no matter what. Okay, I'm gonna ask this question anyway. Could it be possible that he got the car because he wanted to impress her? Okay, we just saw the hoopty. Do you really think that's going to impress a girl? That ride? Could it be possible that he got the car not to do something nefarious with it, but maybe that he was trying to pull up and impress her in something nicer? It's possible. Could be wrong too. I know some of y'all like, hell no. He did this. He got that car and stole that car because he was going to do something bad. That's it. And that's possible too. But I also want to point this out too. Okay. He knew that area so well where he dropped off that car. He knew that area so well that he was able to leave that car there for 24 full hours before they came back and moved her remains. You know that, right? That also tells you how well he knew that area. Like 5-0 ain't going to drive through this area. They're not even going to look at this car that's parked over here in this parking lot. Hell no. They're not even going to look inside the car. They're not even going to worry about what's in the car. They're not even going to pull up in this area. You realize that, right? He knew that area that well. That also tells you a possibility of some other stuff. Maybe that this is a spot where they do a lot of crimes, specifically, or discard crimes, right? Think about that for a second. He took that car and the fact, and beautiful messy ball, the car is stolen. He stole that car, then took that car with a deceased person and left it in the parking lot of an abandoned middle school for 24 hours before they went back and moved her remains. That to me shows that this guy knew that police weren't going to be going in that area at all. That car would have sat there untouched. He wouldn't have had any problems. He'd been there, done that many times before. Just something to think about. Something to think about. Let us continue. I'm going to roll that back because we got to see that hoopty again. I'm telling you, look at the ride. You really think he's going to be pulling up to the, her? You don't think he's trying to level up a little bit? You know what I mean? In his mind, he's like, man, well, because he's dumb. But maybe not. Maybe he just really was getting the car to do something bad. I just had to ask the questions, y'all. I got to ask the questions. Y'all, the smart ones, I'm just here asking the mother freaking questions. I'm about to curse. You see what I did there? Unbelievable. Y'all got me cursing. The hell.
Arriving in the gold Toyota Camry police
Hoopty.
recovered last week. Video from the nearby Philadelphia Rec Center surveillance camera shows two individuals on foot approached the suspect vehicle after waiting 4.5 hours until 3:56 a.m. One motions toward the gold Camry they came in, and it drives out of the parking lot, indicating a third person involved. King and the other person with him then go back to the Hyundai Accent, remove a heavy object consistent with a human body, and carry that object to the playground in the direction of where the human remains were recovered.
Oh, hold on. We got to rewind that back again. Because see, this was 13 minutes ago that they put this out. So I'm glad that we're watching this again or hearing this crap again. But this is very interesting stuff because I was wondering where this third person was coming from, right? So three people drove in the car into that hoopty. They drove that car to where the black accent, the Hyundai accent was, right? Where Kada's body was still in. Car pulls up. Two people get out of the car. Somebody who's driving the car, the gold hoopty, drives off. At least this is from what I'm getting. Okay? Oh, actually, hold on. At least two individuals exit the vehicle. One is on foot, and another one appears to ride around the parking lot on a motorized scooter, e-bike type device, before both leave the camera angle. The vehicle stays parked at that location for at least 4.5 hours until about 3:56 a.m. when two individuals emerged from the playground area and approached the area where the original, hold on, this is interesting.
From the nearby Philadelphia Rec Center surveillance camera shows two individuals on foot approached the suspect vehicle after waiting 4.5 hours until 3:56 a.m. One motions toward the gold Camry they came in, and it drives out of the parking lot.
So one of those two individuals motions towards the other vehicle parked towards the street light, then turns its headlights on and drives out of the parking lot. Then two individuals were on foot and they approach the car,
indicating a third person involved. King and the other person with him then go back to the Hyundai Accent, remove a heavy object consistent with a human body, and carry that object to the playground in the direction of where the human remains were recovered. The Hyundai is later seen driving out of the parking lot, and it was later found set on fire and completely burned. The affidavit states the sequence of King's phone radio tower transmission measurements, coupled with video evidence from the Albury Rec Center, supports that King is present for and participates in all the crimes outlined in this affidavit. Measurements, coupled with video evidence from the Albury Rec Center, supports that King is present for and participates in all the crimes outlined in this affidavit.
Very interesting. So the entire time, okay, the entire time he is conducting everything. He's got hands on the entire time. But there are two other people that helped him, either to drive the car, his hoopty up there and drop off these other two people, or him and this other person. And then they went to go and do what they ended up doing, right? Burning the car, moving her remains, etc., right?
Now, while King is charged with 3 different gun crimes in these latest 11 charges today, the medical examiner's office here did not say yet how Kada was killed. Just for now, ruling her death a homicide. And
I want to make this abundantly clear. Dewan just asked, so he pew-pewed her? No, they did not. They have not confirmed that at all. All they have said is that they found 9mm what's the hell? 9mm ammunition. I'm sorry. Okay. So that's literally it. That's it. They just found that there. Doesn't mean that they actually used it. But still a possibility that he did. But you don't think anybody would have heard a loud bang? You see what I'm saying? So let me continue. But I have not
Detectives who
seen.
share their police headquarters.
Hold on. I have not seen anything about shell casings being found. But another reporter confirmed it. That's what's up. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm gonna look. Hold on.
Orders with the medical examiner's office here in the same building are nowhere near finished. They told me they're working to now identify King's co-conspirators, those with him in those two cars used, one who helped put Kada in that shallow grave, and perhaps Sheba and Jason, the one who tipped off police to go back to where they had searched prior, but knew where police needed to go exactly, pinpointing those detectives Saturday to where Kada's body was buried in that shallow grave. So they're still working to get those others.
Yeah, that theory.
So there's more, obviously. GSW is confirmed. Okay, that's news to me. Hold on, guys. Let's see. I'm just looking to see. Blah blah blah. Okay, better be up to. Dig deeper. Video evidence, which we already have talked about. No, I don't see anything about anybody getting her being shot so far, but hold on. Who said that? Hold on. Let's see. Pulling up something else here that just got put up about 42 minutes ago. Let's see what they say.
11, the big story on Action News is the chilling new details released in the death of Kada Scott. It has been ruled a homicide, and police have revealed new evidence of her interactions with the man who's now charged in her murder. But we still don't know how she died. All of this as the community gathered this evening demanding answers and action. Reporter Brianna Smith live from East Mountain area tonight where that meeting took place. Brianna.
Rick, nearly every church pew was filled with residents, law enforcement, and local and state leaders, and they credit Kada Scott for bringing them together. But this tragedy has left many residents concerned about public safety and vacant properties.
As you all know, Kada's killer was charged today.
21-year-old Keon King is now charged with the murder of 23-year-old Kada Scott. But Philadelphia Police Commissioner Kevin Bethel announced at a community meeting in East Mount Airy the investigation is far from over.
We continue to pursue anyone who helped, who concealed, who participated in this act.
Court documents reveal on October 4th, King and Scott exchanged text messages. That night, police said King called Scott 12 times within about 45 minutes. Shortly after, he picked Scott up from her job in a stolen Hyundai Accent. Just minutes later, Scott's phone went offline. Detectives say that vehicle remained parked at Albury Recreation Center. On October 5th, court records show King's gold Toyota Camry was at the rec center and two people exited the vehicle. Hours later, two individuals appeared to take a large object consistent with a body out of the Hyundai. Detectives later located Scott's remains near that area.
She touched the hearts of many people, including myself.
Residents expressed their public safety concerns, including the dangers of vacant school district properties like Ada Lewis Middle School. The superintendent says their team is reviewing all of them and will recommend ideas this winter.
So that they can be appropriately repurposed for the community's benefit. And we look forward to bringing those forward to the Board of Education.
Local leaders remind neighbors it takes a village.
Each and every one of us need to be a part of something bigger than ourselves.
We stand together, law enforcement, leadership, and the community, In the pursuit of justice and peace and healing, nothing can stop us.
And residents say they're also concerned about the youth. They want students to be educated about harassment, violence, and other dangerous situations so they know how to react and remain safe. Live in East Mount Airy, Brianna Smith, Channel 6 Action News. Rick?
Brianna, thank you. We have also learned more about the communication between Kada Scott and Keon King in the days and hours before her disappearance. One particular text that's now part of the investigation was sent at 10:07 a.m. on October 4th, almost exactly 12 hours before Scott disappeared. In it, she texts the words, quote, "Kidnap me again," to a number that police have linked to King. That was followed by plans to meet. The context of that alarming text is not yet clear, but police say there is no indication, as of now, of any previous incident involving the two. What Kada Scott meant by those words remains unknown.
Again, I just think that, I mean, so far I haven't heard anything. Like, I even like Googled it, and there's nothing being said about, shell casings being found near her body or anything of that sort. I'm looking at reports. I even typed it in just to see what I saw on Google, and they're saying that there has not been anything publicly reported about her actually being hit, like pew-pewed. So that is something I'm sure we're going to find out more information tomorrow on that. But still, we don't know what happened. I feel like if it was a situation where a firearm was involved, I feel like somebody would have heard at least the pop shot. You know what I mean? A popping noise or something. But God only knows, right? Then they say, you just heard a second ago, there's no indication of anything romantic or anything bad that has happened to her in the past. But then at the same time, she could have just met him on the street. You know what I mean? Connected with him then in that way, right? So yeah, and that's true. Beautiful messy ball. You ain't wrong with that. The manner of her demise may not be told until they actually have all the suspects, right? That is possible. See, yeah, but Regina, I'm going, where did they report it? If y'all seen it, send it my way, because I have not seen anything about the news saying that she was actually, hit. But I'm looking. I'm looking. I am definitely looking, but I have yet to see anything about that. Yeah, I don't see anything like that at all right now. But still, anyway, guys, of course, we're keeping an eye on this case because there's at least possibly two other people on the loose that could be connected in the unaliving, or I don't think it's the unaliving so much, but I do think that they are obviously should be held accountable and should be brought to justice for their involvement in trying to cover up this crime of Kada Scott. Somebody definitely needs to, step forward and confess. And there needs to be justice for Kada because it's not done yet. Those other people that moved that body, that helped move her body, need to be brought to justice as soon as possible. And I still don't think that this is their first rodeo. I really don't. I really, really don't. You really think that you'd be able to find two other people that quickly and that easily to move remains and bury the remains with you and for you, helping you out? Like, not everybody has a Brian Laundrie, not everybody has a Roberta Laundrie in their life where, you could just sit there and go, if you wanted me to, unalive somebody, I'd help you bury the body, right? Not everybody is willing to do stuff like that. Let's be real. Literally, like, think about the people you rock with. ABC 6 Philadelphia did. I'll look at it. ABC 6 Philadelphia. Like on YouTube, or is it just an article? I'm just checking to see. But how many people could you turn to and just be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Think about that. They got to be people that have done that for you before. Okay? Like you just don't go up to somebody and be like, yeah, you know, how's your day going? Oh, good. You know, kids, you know, they're thriving. We're just working our butts off, the usual. Yeah, so I got a dead body I got to bury. Can you help me move it and bury it? And then not tell anybody anything about it? And you will be the only other person that knows. Actually, there's another person that's going to help me because he's kind of big and he likes to dig things. So it's going to be between you, me, and this other dude. You mind helping me? And while we, I'll buy pizza in the 6-pack. So I'll pay you in food. I can't give you no money, but I'll pay you in food. What you say? Like, really, you're not doing that. Okay, that's wild. And if you can do that, that's insane. Because apparently he can. Because he called up those people and he went back 24 hours later, stuck around for a little while, and then eventually moved the remains with somebody else. Okay? That's crazy. That's crazy. Just saying. Let's see here. I'm looking at a couple. I think I already played that. That's not a. I honestly. Okay, hold on. I'm looking to see what's going on here. I don't see anything, but okay. Food delivery worker, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't see anything about any shell casings so far. But like I said, I'm looking at 6 ABC Action News. I'm looking at an article right now, and I don't see it. But honestly, if it does pull up, if that information does pull up, we'll talk about it. But I don't see it here, unfortunately. I don't, and it's getting late, so I'm gonna be wrapping up the show. But again, like I said, there's just, you can clearly see that these people have done it before, simply by how they are operating in unison with each other. Yeah, it took him 24 hours to go back to the car. I'm sure it took him 24 hours to convince 2 people to help him cover this situation. But if you really think about it, the fact that it only took him 24 hours to convince somebody, or 2 people, by the way, to help him cover up the crime of taking the life of this young woman is absolutely insane to me, because it should never happen, right? That car should have sat there with her remains in there without any help with somebody. You see what I'm saying? The fact that he had 24 hours and he was able to convince somebody, 2 somebodies, tells me that they've done this before, period. And this is not a situation where you're like, no, I can't, Keon, I need to think about it. 24 hours later. All right, where's the body at? That makes no sense. That's crazy. Do you understand? That's insane. So if he's able to do that in 24 hours, that tells me this ain't their first rodeo. They've done this before, okay? Or he had to take 24 hours to really convince two messed up individuals into doing this, burying her body. Think about that for a second. That's crazy, guys. He's done this before. Yeah, I'm sure he had to pay somebody, pay him in substances or something like that, or use that whole stack of money that he had, Just saying that's that stack of money. He's like, I'll just give you all that I had in that photo. That's all I got. But I'm just going to use all that. Okay? And y'all could split it. It's at least $500 in there, something. Nah, they've done this before. Okay? They've done this before. So we'll see what happens here. But is justice coming? Are these possible two other people going to be locked up here soon as well for their involvement in the cover-up of the murder of Kada Scott? Only time will know. Only time can tell. What does kidnap me mean? Is that something? Or is that nothing? Is that meant to be flirtatious? Or is it not meant to be flirtatious? You know what? I just want to point something out real quick. Like, this car is so old, okay, that it has the flat locks. Do you see that right there? The flat lock. Remember the flat locks? Remember the flat locks and the locks that look like nails? Like the heads of nails? Nobody remember these? Like, that car is so old, it got flat locks. You don't see that? No, no one sees that? That is old school. That is old. That's very 90s. He probably still got a tape deck in that mug and everything. He probably has to, to play music, the music that he wants to play. He probably has like a tape deck adapter that's connected to a CD player. I'm just saying, it's so old. It probably still got like a mobile phone. It's so old that they call it a mobile phone. You know what I'm saying? Like a Zach Morris phone. That's how old this car is. You understand how old this car is? This car is so old. Okay, yeah, it's filled with a whole bunch of mixtapes in the back seat. It got mixtapes, okay? Come on now. Come on. Oh, dear God. Okay? That car's so old. Look at the flat. Look at the flat. Remember those things? And then there were the other ones that were shaped like nails, like thumbtacks. You know what I'm saying? They were like skinny and then fat because you got to pull them. Nobody remember they were old, like old school cars, man. Damn. Okay. This car was made before Bluetooth. Do you understand? Do you understand how old school that is? Ain't nothing Bluetooth. Oh, God forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait. Somebody just said, Jennifer said, my first car. Yeah, clearly this is his first car too. Okay, so yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I had to roast it. I just can't with the car. Okay, I just can't. Okay, like, listen, listen, whatever you're riding in, you ride it, okay? Ride it with pride, okay? But you won't see, and if I had this car and I was riding this car, driving around in this car, you won't see me taking photos with it, okay? And trying to, open the door so I can camouflage the dents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will drive it with pride, but you will not see me flashing money and trying to be like, yo, I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got it like that. No. Let me get a real nice whip, and then I'll be like flashing the money and then the, you know what I mean, the dope ride. Okay. But like this right here, this ish right here, that is what I call an oxymoron. Okay. It just does not make sense. Okay. It is just two different things happening at the same time. Okay. It is not an optical illusion. It is an eyesore. Okay. I'm done. All right. I'm done. Okay. Like I said, I love old school cars too. And we all start somewhere. Okay. But damn. You know, okay. One last thing. All that money he has in his hand should have been to just fix the dent in the damn car. Or maybe get a new car. I'm just saying, okay, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Okay. Oxymoron. It just doesn't make sense. He's not the only one that does that kind of crap, though, guys. He's not. But that's the show, guys. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in, spending the time with me. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was about to go in again. I just can't do it. The good Lord said back off, so I'm backing off. Okay. But let me do me a favor, okay? Hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you can, please and thank you. All right. Like I said, hey, listen. It's just the photo. I don't care what whip you drive in, but you know he's a monster, so we can roast him. Okay? Just don't do that crap. Just stop. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Hit that like button down below. We're moving on. Greener pastures ahead. So hit that like button down below, please and thank you. Crush that follow button if you're watching on any of these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Please and thank you. Follow. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel here on YouTube. Go to my second and third channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe. That would be amazing. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. All right, at least for now. A lot of breaking news stuff going on, so it's very random. All right, so make sure you're subscribed and with that notification bell set to all. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right, guys. But anyway, it is time to get going. I'm tired, just like his hoopty. So I'm going to get going and get some rest. But hopefully you guys do the same. All right? Stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.